Hi, I'm Anna Maria and I'm a fine artist. I was born in London. I went to uni in Loughborough, which is in the Midlands in the UK. I studied fine art despite having interests in many other subjects because I felt I could explore all these subjects within my art. I could research history and geography, I could consider philosophical theories and developments in culture and society. So I studied fine art with this in mind. I work as a curator for an art gallery founded in the Social Inclusion Project. I've been doing this for 6 years now. This impacted my art because it's a wonderful thing to be able to be constantly curious, constantly learning and meeting and interacting with people. Finding ways to communicate and generating a community. That's what art does, and that's what the kind of work that I've been involved with does within socially engaged practice. Both my parents were skilled in their craft, which installed a belief that time and work is needed to develop and hone the techniques for my art. I spend so much time walking, whether it be in my local area, parks, etc., and contemplating so many things, mainly revolving around the way we see things. I listen to music and pick out the stories and match the emotions the music gives me with the events in my life. All this has added a branch of imagination to my work, which I believe steps it up from just focusing on technique and craft. I get inspired by so much, but I rarely see a piece of work and wish I made that, as it were. I can step back, admire it, and be inspired by it. I recently saw work at Saatchi Gallery by Emma Bennett. I was mesmerised and labelled it as an aesthetic aim in my head. I get inspired by exhibitions at the Hayward Gallery, mainly the curation and how the artist's work works together and it plays off each other. I enjoy reading art writing to generate awareness of how others experience art and how my own can add to the dialogue. I like reading Julian Spalding and Olivia Laing. Julian Spalding wrote a book, The Best Art You've Never Seen. It really explores what art is. It's about all the art which has either been hidden by choice or hate or accident or lots of reasons why art has been hidden or isn't in view. And that really made me think about, well, what is art and what makes it special and what can make my art special and what can make my appreciation of other people's art really enrich my life. Olivia Laing wrote about being lonely in the city of New York and finding herself through the art in the city. Right now I'm focusing on creating a participatory installation on care where people can annotate, draw and change the story with regards to care in the community. I made an interactive picture book which I produced a workshop to run alongside presenting this picture book, and it was really great. People made their own little books in response to what I said about my story and the picture book that I presented, and people did doodle on the picture book and annotate it and experience it in a new way. I asked people to consider what makes their story and what's needed to support their story. I was recently working on paintings which illustrate song lyrics I feel connected to, and I've been working on a series of ballet dancer paintings using reference photos I took at Battersea Park. The biggest challenge of being an artist is to focus down. I find that briefs or self-imposed limitations are important. There are so many possibilities, and if there is a gap in your knowledge, there is a way to learn it which adds even more possibilities. I believe finding what is important to you and sharing that has been a learning curve. I would advise my younger self that everyone who has their own story and is searching for happiness and fulfillment When you know yourself the best you can recognize others, whether they're similar to you or not, and that's powerful. I've done some participatory art, such as an inspiration library where people share their stories and pictures in zines. I make them to add to a shelf of inspiration for people to visit and engage with. I also did a piece of performance art which involved inviting the audience to interact. I recently conducted an experiment of sorts which explored how art can change the conversation in a room, and which type of art, according to sentiment analysis software, inspires the most positive conversation. At university, I used to put on DVDs of Ally McBeal in the background. I would have a plan for the painting and let my subconscious skills do the work in the moment. Now I challenge myself to push boundaries more, and I often listen to music, usually with lyrics, so I can find stories, and if I really need absolute concentration, Baroque music such as Bach. I enjoy when people stop for a significant time in front of my art, like they want to spend time with it, like they're communicating with it, that the time I have taken is being reciprocated in consideration. The best reaction someone has had to my artwork is to want it in their space, part of their home. There is therefore something about it which makes them feel the way they want to feel. I hope people take away inspiration from my artwork, and inspiration to feel a certain way, to create a new way of seeing.